Hello students. So yesterday we had studied in chapter 1 reproduction in lower and higher plants, all the different types of asexual reproduction. Today we are going to study different methods of vegetative propagation. So students, what is vegetative reproduction? Plants reproduce asexually through their vegetative parts. They may use root, stems or leaves to propagate. So the new plant produced is genetically identical to its parents. This method can be carried out either by naturally or artificially. Natural method includes vegetative propagation by roots, stems, leaves, bulbils, etc. Whereas artificial methods include man-made activities, that is by cutting, grafting, layering, tissue culture. Let us now study the first type of natural vegetative propagation method, which is occurring by roots. Now roots, we are talking about underground roots. The first example, everybody knows sweet potato, that is ratalu. It has single fleshy tuberous root. The main purpose is to store the food. Whereas in dahlia, asparagus, there is a bunch of root present which are all fleshy and tuberous. Both these type of roots, they help in vegetative propagation. You might have heard about kadi patta. Kadi patta is nothing but muraiya, or guava, that is peru, or shisam, that is dalbergia sisu. In all these three also, vegetative propagation occurs with the help of roots. Best example of muraiya is the Jim Corbett forest, which is full of kadipatta trees, and there the trees have propagated or grown in number just because of vegetative propagation due to roots. The next vegetative propagation we will study by underground stem. The main purpose of underground stem is to store food. Also, they are serving a purpose of vegetative propagation, that is perennation. Let us take the first example, rhizome. We have already studied this concept in 11th standard. Rhizome is an underground fleshy stem. It grows dorsiventrally. Main purpose is store the food. It can be found in ginger, that is Zingiber officinale, or turmeric, haldi, Curcuma domestica, which shows sympodial, that is lateral growth. Both of them are having nodes, internodes, axillary buds, and through these axillary buds, they give out leaves which forms new shoots and new plants is arising. Second example of underground stem is corm. Corm is a vertically growing rhizome. We can also call it as a stout and fleshy upright growing rhizome. So corm example is colocasia. We call it as arabi or elephant's foot or amorphophallus. Again, it has nodes, internodes, axillary buds which can give rise to a new shoot. Third example is of stem tuber. Stem tuber, the best example is potato, that is Solanum tuberosum. It is basically the tip of the underground stem which becomes swollen. Tubers never have adventitious roots, but they do have nodes which we call as eyes through which sprouts out the buds. The scaly leaves and the buds arise which can give rise to a new plant. Last example for underground stem are bulbs. There are two types of bulbs, scaly bulbs as in onion, that is Allium cepa, and tunicated bulb as in garlic, lasun, Allium sativum. Both are having reduced stems which are disc shaped, and on this disc shaped reduced stem there is an apical bud which can give rise to a new plant. Whereas the food is stored in the fleshy leaves which are either present in the form of fleshy pods or the leaves themselves, they are arranged in concentric circles storing food. But here the stem, the reduced disc shaped stem, serves the purpose of vegetative propagation by its apical bud. The next method of vegetative natural propagation is by aerial stems. Now there are four types of aerial stems: runner, offset, stolons and suckers. I'll give you a brief revision. Runners are present in grass, that is dhoop grass or Cyanodon dactylon, also called as lawn grass. Here one of the stem, if you can see in the diagram, it runs parallelly on the ground. After a definite interval, after 2 to 3 nodes, it will again give rise to new shoot and root system. Thus it is called as runner. Second example, offset. Offset is again a type of runner, but it runs parallel on water. It is present in aquatic plants like Ecornia, water hyacinth or Pistia. Here, again it causes vegetative propagation after 2 to 3 nodes. It will produce roots and shoots. The third type is stolons. Stolons are found in wild strawberry, that is also called as Frageria or Jasminium or jasmine. In case of stolon, one of the aerial stem, sub-aerial, we cannot say it aerial, but it is a sub-aerial stem. It slightly grows above the ground and again comes down after 2 to 3 nodes. When it touches the ground, the node produces root and shoot system. The fourth type is suckers. As the name suggests, suckers present in mentha, that is pudina or peppermint, and chrysanthemum. One of the branch goes deep into the soil. It literally sucks into the soil, goes underground, again comes up. And when it comes up after a distance of 2 to 3 nodes and internodes, it will again give rise to a new root system and a shoot system. Thus, this is vegetative natural propagation by subaerial stems. The next method of vegetative natural propagation is by leaves. It occurs in case of kalanchoe, begonia, Saint Paulia or bryophyllum. If you can see carefully in the diagram, these bryophyllum leaves are slightly succulent leaves, fleshy leaves, and on the margin they have notches. And on these notches, epiphyllous buds comes. Epi means above, phyllis means leaf. So adventitious buds, epiphyllous buds arise on the notch in the notches on the margin of the bryophyllum leaves, which give rise to new plants and adventitious root system. Similarly, vegetative natural propagation occurs in leaves of begonia, which you can see in the second picture. So with this, we have completed all the natural methods of vegetative propagation in plants. Now let us start with the artificial method, that is man-made methods of vegetative propagation in plants. First type we will study about stem cutting, which we have been practicing since ancient times. Here a vegetative part, a proper stem having 1 or 2 nodes with buds is cut. Nowadays it is applied with phytohormones like indole acetic acid, naphthalene acetic acid or indole butyric acid for proper growth, and then it is planted in the soil to give a proper healthy plant. Similarly, root cutting is carried out in plants of blackberry and leaf cutting method is done in case of Sansevieria. In Marathi, we call it as Murhari or vernacular name is snake plant. The next method we are going to study in artificial methods of propagation is grafting. Now this is a very interesting method. Here two plants are selected. One plant, if you can see in the diagram, is rooted. That rooted plant, it is called as the stalk. A notch is made in the rooted plant or the stalk, and the plant which we want to grow of desired quality or desired variety of flowers or fruit having good vascular system, it is then inserted on the stalk. This upper plant which is having more than one buds of desired characters which we want, it is called as scion. Then it is either covered with a moss or it is covered with soil, wet soil. It is then covered with plastic and kept aside for some days. Once the cambial system, the vascular bundles connect to each other, they start growing together. This methods where two plants are joined together, it is called as grafting. Now graftings are of different types. If you can see in the first diagram, you can see that there is one stalk and two scion. Similarly, we can plant 3 or 4 scions together. This type is usually done to get variety of mangoes in mango plants. This grafting is called as a crown grafting. In the second figure below, you can see that two tongue-shaped structures are cut and then they are fixed. The stalk and scions having tongue shape, it is then fixed into one another. This is called as tongue grafting or whip grafting. In the third figure, you can see a V is cup. This V is also called as a wedge grafting. Sometimes a W cut is made. The fourth type, which is not shown in the figure, is bud grafting. On the stalk, at the node region where the bud is present, it is removed. Only the bud is removed, and the scion of necessary or the plant which you want to grow, the bud is grafted in that notch. Usually, this is bud grafting, which is carried out in apple, pear, and roses. Now, grafting cannot be done in monocot because they lack cambial tissue. Grafting is only possible in dicot plants because of well-developed cambium tissue. Now we'll talk about the next method of artificial propagation, that is tissue culture or micropropagation. To understand this, let us have a look at the figure. In the first figure, we can see that a green leaf is present. Tissues are scrapped out. Tissues have the property of totipotency. Each tissue can develop into a new plant. So these tissues are collected and grown in an agar medium. Nutrients are added to it, inorganic and organic nutrients. Then these are allowed to grow in the agar medium and the nutrient medium. Small plantlets develop. These plantlets are then transferred to trays where they grow in size and then they are transferred to the field. So this is a method of tissue culture or micropropagation, which is very useful nowadays to get better variety, disease resistant variety of plants. One more method of artificial vegetative propagation is layering, which is not mentioned in our textbook. But in case of layering, there are two types of layering: soil layering and air layering. A plant, a desired stem or a branch is selected. It is girdled or cut. The outer layers are girdled, cut. They're applied with hormones, phytohormones like auxins. Then they are bent. That girdled portion is attached to the soil. It is covered with the soil. Because of auxin, after some days it will produce adventitious roots and it will shoot out or develop into new plants and root system. Once the new plantlets start growing, it is then cut off from the parent plant. So this is layering. With this, we have completed all the different methods, natural and artificial method of vegetative propagation. In the next lecture or PPT, we will study about sexual methods of reproduction in plants. Thank you.